When you were coming up, jazz, to be a jazz musician was not necessarily an academic pursuit as much as it is today. It's much more formalized in terms of its educational element. And I don't know, maybe you can speak to the way it was when you were coming up, maybe a little differently.
Yes, it's completely different.
A broadcast service of City College and the San Diego Community College District. This is Jazz FM 88.3 KSDS San Diego. I'm Dave Drexler with Inside Art. Support for Inside Art comes from the members of San Diego's Jazz 88.3. This week on Inside Art, we'll preview the 7th Annual San Diego Writers Festival, March 28th in Coronado. But first, we welcome a living legend of the tenor saxophone. Jerry Bergonzi is an internationally recognized performer, composer, author, and educator who first gained recognition as a frequent guest and eventual member of the Dave Brubeck Quartet during the 1970s and early 80s. Bergonzi's discography includes more than 70 recordings as a leader, and his latest releases are his own Avant-Gons and Blue DNA with the Carl Winter Trio. Plus, he just completed his 200th live stream performance in a free series of online concerts available on YouTube. Jerry's also a longtime jazz faculty member at the prestigious New England Conservatory. This Boston area native will be making a pair of rare San Diego appearances Sunday, April 5th at Dizzy's and Monday the 6th with the San Diego State University Student and Faculty Jazz Ensembles in the SDSU Arts District Main Stage Theater. Jerry Bergonzi, it's a pleasure to have you with us on Inside Art.
It's a pleasure to be with you, David. Thank you.
Well, we don't get to see you too much in San Diego. This is a real treat. You don't make that many West Coast sojourns, do you?
No, I don't. Usually when I'm traveling, I go to Europe or New York City, which is close, but it's mostly Europe. And of course, I've been, to China, Japan, and Australia, New Zealand, everywhere, but mostly it's Europe.
Well, I'm sure you still have a lot of connections with musicians out here. Among them,
Oh, yeah.
the recent San Diego State University Jazz Studies chair, Brian Levy, who was a
Yes,
student of yours, I believe, at New England Conservatory.
he was. Yes, he was a student, and he's such a great player and an educator, and it's a pleasure to work with him. I was there at the school a couple of years ago, and the talent level was amazing, and he's running a great program.
Yeah, he's really bringing that up a notch or two. And what is your general approach when you do a clinic like that with students?
Well, it depends what they want me to talk about, because everywhere I go, they'll have different subjects like how do you use these rhythms, how do you negotiate this harmony. So I'm usually talking about concepts of improvising, how, how much space to leave, to be voice leading, things like that, but particularly rhythmic, on a melodic rhythmic approach.
I've heard you talk about improvising, and a couple of key words came up for me, which was the role of inspiration and intuition.
Yes, I know that they asked Mel Lewis, the great jazz drummer, said, "How did you learn how to play?" He said, "Well, I listened, and I listened." He said, "Well, what do you do when you play with people now?" I said, "Well, I listen, I listen, I listen." So listening is such a big how to learn to listen and listen to a lot of music and have your intuition get involved with what you're listening to and how to respond to it.
Is it a matter of like trusting yourself and your skills?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to have the skills to trust, of course, but yes, absolutely. I mean, there's only one you, and you have to trust it. You don't have anybody else to trust.
Well, so who are some of the musicians or maybe singular talents that helped to inspire you as you were starting out?
Well, of course, all the great jazz saxophone players, the Joe Hendersons, Wayne Shorter, Sonny Rollins, John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon, Hank Mobley, Stanley Tarantine, Sonny Stitt, and the alto players, Cannonball, of course, Bird, Lester Young, and Ben Webster, and Coleman Hawkins, and I could go on and on and on. But also, when I used to go out and buy LPs at the time, I used to go to Harvard Square, which is just a bus ride from where I lived. And I used to go to this place called Briggs and Briggs, and I get a stack of records, and I always buy the records with Elvin Jones on it, Billy Higgins, Philly Joe Jones, or Tony Williams. And if I got those LPs with those drummers, I knew I'd love it.
Well, who was the maybe responsible for you getting your first break in the music business?
I'm still waiting for my first break. No. Well, as far as names go, of course, I was working these gigs with a clarinet player in Boston, Robert Fritz. And Darius Brubeck was playing these gigs with him. So when I moved to New York, Darius called me, said, yeah, I want to start a band. We're going to be the introduction band to my father. We're going to go on the road. So I played with that band, and we'd do it encores, and I'd play with Dave and Paul Desmond or Jerry Mulligan, uh, and of course, all the people that were in Darius's band, his brothers. And that's how I got. And then I stopped doing that, and Dave called me a little while later and said, well, I want to do a quartet with you. So I guess that was the biggest break that I could say, or the most exposure that I got.
I would say so. That had to be quite a formative experience for you, being around Dave Brubeck.
Yes, he was great. What a role model. He was just a consummate professional, and he never once told me how to play. He never said, "Yeah, I want you to play like Paul Desmond," like I couldn't anyway, or Jerry Mulligan. He just let you be yourself, which was great.
You know, what were some opportunities that arose out of that? Any compositional or other things that from being in that association?
It wasn't so much that I got opportunities from that, but living in New York City while in the '70s for about 5 years, and meeting all the musicians at that time and playing gigs in New York and collaborating with them and getting uh, breaks like that. And the first label that signed me up to do a whole bunch of recordings was Red Records from Italy, and I did must be on about 10 of their records, and then Double Time Records. Jamie Abersol's son had a Jamie Jr. And then of course Savant Records signed me up to do a whole bunch, and it was like that, and records, other labels in between, recording with those Blue Jackal Records, La Belle Blue from Paris, and things like that.
You know, when you were coming up, jazz to be a jazz musician was not necessarily an academic pursuit as much as it is today. You know, it's much more formalized in terms of its educational element. And I don't know, maybe you can speak to the way it was when you were coming up, maybe a little differently.
Yes, it's completely different. I used to be thrown out of the practice. I went to Lowell State Teachers College at the time, and they used to throw me out of the practice room for practicing jazz. Uh, and of course, later on, that went on to be they were had jazz studies at that school. But yeah, so if you wanted to learn something, you basically had to learn it yourself, or your friends would show you this, you'd show them something. It was the codes weren't broken. I remember asking people, "Well, could you teach jazz?" He said, "Well, no, just learn tunes and listen to records." That was the way, you know.
You learned it by being on the bandstand most of the time, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm still learning it. You know, it's not like you. It's not something you. People say, "Well, he's a master. This is a master. Master." Music's the master. We're all the students. It's so huge. It's infinite.
Well, and you've been doing these live streams for the past several years, probably 5 years now, right?
Yes, 5 years. We started when COVID hit because we couldn't play in front of people. So we'll go to a recording studio and play over the earwaves.
Tell us a little bit about how that all got going. Where you record these, they're of really high quality. It's like being in a private session, you know.
They're all like record quality. We keep getting amazing comments how great the quality of the music is. We first started with in my attic. We did one broadcast and the sound was so terrible. I said, I don't want anybody to hear this with that sound. So I called up my friend Peter Contreras at Pete's Basement Studio. He's a great studio, which I've recorded many recordings down there. And we asked him if he'd do it, and it just was a hookup immediately. So we've been doing it unless I go on the road. So pretty much every week 205 years. So,
Obviously gives you a chance to work out material, but yet with the pressure of playing in front of an audience, that's wonderful.
well, the great thing about it is, like, I'll write a tune and bring it in, and it's really the same experience you have when you go to a recording studio as a musician. Okay, guys, let's read this down. And, we're so in the moment that anybody who tunes in says, they're in the moment improvising on new tunes. We don't work, they're not practiced or anything like that. So it's really fresh.
Are you drawing from some of your students as far as accompanists on these performances?
Well, Matt Stavrakis is playing bass. He was a student of mine, but he's been a professional he's living in New York City now. Plamen Karadinev, who's from Bulgaria, has been playing piano. And Luther Gray, has been playing drums. Sometimes Austin McMahon, different people. And I have different guests come in and sit in, mostly saxophone guests. But next week, Chris Collins is playing. He's the great tenor saxophone player. He runs the Detroit Jazz Festival, which is an amazing true jazz festival. It's, usually with the festivals today, they call it a jazz festival, and there's one jazz act. These are all jazz acts.
Well, tell us a little bit about your latest albums. We've got Avant Gonz and Blue DNA, and Carl Winter is on both of these.
Yes. Carl, I've been playing with for the last, 20 years or something like that. He's from Denmark, with Anders Mogensen on drums and Johnny Oman on bass. And these, when COVID hit, we were in the studio. We said, we decided we never made a avant-garde, well, Phil Grenadier's on trumpet, we never made an avant-garde CD. So we decided to do all these concepts for these tunes, and they're really fresh sounding, and some of them are humorous. But and Blue DNA was a quartet recording where they did most of my compositions.
Do you have your own record label? Is that what I hear, or something you release under your own name?
No, well, it's under my own name, but the Danish guys have been putting these out on their label, which you can get on Spotify, things like that. I forget the name of their label, actually.
You can look that up, Jerry Bergonzi, Avant Gonz, and Blue DNA. How about accessing the YouTube live streams or recorded live streams now?
Yeah, I think you can just go on YouTube and put my name there, and I have a YouTube channel, and you can see it live or tune into after and go to a bunch of different ones and check it out.
And you'll be performing here in San Diego at two places. You've got the Intimate Dizzy's Club in the Marina area, and of course it's with San Diego State University jazz faculty and students. That should be a busy, very busy time for you as both a clinician and performer.
Yes, I'm going to have to get my rest. Yes.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back here in town for both of those on April 5th and 6th. My guest, Jerry Bergonzi. Thank you very much, Jerry, for a few moments on Inside Art.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Jerry Bergonzi performs Sunday, April 5th at 7:30 at Dizzy's in the Marina area. General admission tickets are $30, $20 for students, cash only at the door. Monday, April 6th, Bergonzi will be featured with San Diego State University student and faculty ensembles at 7 p.m. in the SDSU Arts District Main Stage Theater. You can purchase tickets for this concert and learn more at music.sdsu.edu/calendar. Stay with us as we preview the 2026 edition of the San Diego Writers Festival in Coronado. That's next as Inside Art continues here on San Diego's Jazz 88.3. Funding for Inside Art comes from the members of Jazz 88.3, where your support brings the joy and history of jazz and all of the arts to San Diego. To become a member, visit jazz88.org/donate.